Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a topic that is a little bit close to my heart because it is something that I have struggled with in the past and something that I still struggle with currently. And that is how to stay mindful and in the present when dealing with anxiety, because for those of you who have anxiety, or if you know about anxiety in general, you know that it's just constantly worrying, whether it's about the present, the future, or the past. And so I wanted to share 5 things that have helped me get better at staying mindful and in the present when I'm dealing with my own anxiety. So I wanted to share them because if they've helped me, the little bit that they've helped me, I'm hoping that at least one can help someone else out there. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I started working on when my anxiety became a little too much to handle was my breathing. When I get anxious, I tend to not breathe properly, and that's in multiple different ways. Sometimes my chest will get too tense, and that allows like a shallow breathing space in my lungs as opposed to the full volume, so I'm not getting the proper amount of air that I should be getting. Other times I will hyperventilate a little bit, which again is not allowing me to get the proper air that I need, and also can make me lightheaded and make me faint if it goes on too long. So if my chest is tense, I will try to recognize that and just do a deep sigh and let out all the tension and all the air that's in my lungs, and then take a fresh breath. If I'm hyperventilating, I will have to focus on taking a very, very, very deep inhale, deeper than I've allowed myself to take while I'm hyperventilating, and then follow with a deep sigh, introduced by that new breath again, because that's something that can get any built up CO2 out of your lungs and also just introduce fresh air, can help you focus on the one thing you're breathing. I know sometimes it's not as simple as the one breath technique. So another exercise my therapist actually taught me is using your hand and sticking out all 5 fingers, or all 4 fingers and thumb, depending on how you say it. And then taking your pointer finger of your other hand and gliding up and down your fingers and taking a deep inhale each time you go up and a deep exhale each time you go down. And obviously you would start here, and once you get through all 5 fingers, I find that it tends to help me focus on my breathing, let go of my anxiety for a moment, and get that fresh air introduced into my system that I need, and also maintain a bit of a calm and come back down to a neutral state. So that's the first thing that I started working on when I started learning about tips and tricks for anxiety. So that helps you stay mindful because you're focusing on your one thing, your breathing, as opposed to all the other things that was causing you to interrupt your breathing in the first place. So another thing that helps me stay mindful and in the present is taking pictures. And this has been something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. If you've followed along, you know that there's a personal story behind it. And I'm not the best at doing it. I'm not too great at pulling out my phone and my camera and getting those moments. I am getting better since it is something that I've been wanting to work on for a while. And when I do it, it does help me stay in the present moment. For example, on my birthday, we recently went out for dinner, my husband and my brother and I, and we had a great, lovely dinner, and we were getting ready to leave, and I decided, you know what, I would like a picture with each of you really quick, pretty please. It's not too often that I get pictures with my brother in general, so that was a good excuse to make him do it. And then also with my husband, you know, we're always doing things together, but not very often is it that we take pictures of what we're doing. So I made my brother take a picture of me and my husband take a picture of me and my brother, and it kind of helped us stay in the moment instead of rushing off to the next thing we were doing, which was just getting dessert and going about the rest of our evening. But it allowed us to stay in that moment for just a little bit longer, and now I have those pictures that I'm happy I have, instead of just allowing myself to keep thinking about what I'm doing next. So I've found that also applies in other situations. If I'm thinking about something that I have to do, but I'm also involved in what I'm doing, I will pull out my phone and I will find a good angle and I'll take a good picture, because then it allows me to focus on that thing for one last brief moment before then moving on to my next task. So that's the second thing I do that helps me stay mindful and in the present. And if any of these help you, just one. Don't do them in a certain order. These are just, actually the first one, the breathing, is what I did first, but the rest of these are just in a random order, so it's not like you have to kind of master one area before moving on to the rest. So I just wanted to point that out. Another thing that helps me stay mindful and in the present when I'm stressing is my gratitude journal. Again, if you've been following with me for a while, you know that that's a big part of my life. And every day I like to take the time to write down 5 things that happened that day that I'm grateful for. And I try and make them little things. Whether it was my brother making dinner for us, or my friend reaching out to say hello, or getting to spend time with my animals, things like that, because it helps me not only stay focused on in the present and what happened that present day and not think elsewhere like the future and the past, but it also helps me then kind of be more attentive and tuned into more small things to be grateful for that I can then add to my journal later. So it's helping me kind of keep my eye out even in the stress and hecticness of life for those little things to be grateful for. So that's a great thing that helped me when I first started learning that my anxiety was getting a little too much for me to just handle without working on it, was breathing and my gratitude journal. So now that is up to 3. So the 4th thing that has helped me is learning to focus. And it's a little bit harder than the other ones, because when you have anxiety, or if you know about anxiety, your mind is just constantly going from place to place, thinking about the next thing you have to do, or what could go wrong, or you name it. So I find that when I am doing that and thinking too far ahead or too far behind, I will remind myself to come back to the present, to try not to think ahead, to try not to ruminate on the past or worry about the future, to try and just be here right now where I am, because that's the only time we have, like I said. And sometimes that can be hard. So I also like to apply something that I learned a long time ago. I forget who kind of started it, but it's called the 2-minute rule, meaning if you have so many tasks that you have to do and you're kind of stressing, thinking about, you know, which one is more important, something that's helped me is I'll put important tasks up first and then less important down below, but then still when I have to decide what to do out of the more important tasks, I will think, okay, what will take 2 minutes or less to complete right now? And a lot of the times that's quite a few things, believe it or not. And then once I get those things, I can easily cross them off my list and I can look at the next thing. Okay, is there anything else that will take 2 minutes or less to do right now? Because when you think about it realistically, 2 minutes isn't a lot of time. 5 minutes, people kind of tend to think, oh, okay, I'll hold that one off, 5 minutes or longer. But if something seems easy enough to tackle right away, not only is that one less stress that you have on your list of things to do, but it also keeps you focused and engaged on moving forward with your list. And a lot of the times, sometimes I actually under or overestimate it, depending on how you look at it, and I'll think that things will only take 2 minutes. It will end up taking longer, but I'm just so involved in the task that I'm doing that I don't really notice, as opposed to having to find that motivation to even get the task started in the first place. So that also helps me focus on what I'm doing, what I need to get done, and then allowing myself to look at my list and then focus on a different task instead of thinking about them all at once and trying to think about what to do next and what I need to get done, and again, you name it. So the fifth one is actually something that is harder for me to do, but I have been practicing it a lot lately with my therapist especially, and that is learning to let go. A lot of my anxiety stems from things that I actually don't have control over, because we all only have control over a certain amount of things in general anyways, and I tend to stress on the things that I don't have control over. So my therapist has helped me realize, and we are working on it, that I need to just focus on things that I am best at or things that I can do and let go of the rest. I have to learn that I can't do everything on my own, and that's where delegating comes into play too. Certain people are good at delegating, and I am not one of them. So that's something I'm having to learn how to do, is delegate, because I can't do everything on my own, and I can't fix everything on my own. I've always kind of struggled with, if other people are feeling down or a certain way, I will want to help them feel better, even if there is nothing that I can do, and I'll kind of take it upon myself and feel that stress from not being able to fix their feelings. But she's also helped me learn that I don't have control over other people, and they don't have control over me, just like they don't have control over me. So I have to learn to let go of the things that are not in my control. And like I said, this is something that for some reason I'm struggling with more than these other tips and tricks that have helped me, but it is one of the most beneficial things for the times that it has worked for me. It's definitely helpful with anxiety and ruminating on the past or worrying about the future, like I said. So these are just 5 little things that, like I said, have helped me or are helping me, and I didn't try them all at once. I focused on 1 or 2 to begin with, and then I kind of built up as some things were helping me, but I knew I needed help in other areas. So, like I said, I just hope one of these can help someone else out there. And that's it for today's video, or this week's video. Just short, sweet, and to the point. Like I said, I hope I'm able to help at least someone else out there. Stay tuned for next week. We will have a bit more upbeat and fun vlog video for you. And thanks again for watching. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and the notification button down below so you don't miss another video by me. And I will see you next week.